Good morning, campers. This is Judge Mentalist with a little bit of a raspy, scratchy voice here coming at you live from wherever I am, and also not particularly live, but hey, we've covered this before. We got an interesting episode coming at you today. A lot of different random stuff going on for both of us. Some developments on the performance front. We're getting closer and closer to Big Sexy returning to space. Here he is, your host with the most, Big Sexy.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Whenever this is hitting your ear holes, I hope that it is good. Yes, things are on the things are taking motion, as it were, are on their way to us returning back to Malaga. The first step is figuring out where we're going to be staying here in Bucharest for the remainder of the stay. We just recently booked our last Airbnb here in Bucharest. That'll be covered from September 21st to October 18th. And we're going to be on the outskirts of Bucharest. Like we're going to be on the really south, as far as the south, one of the south train lines can go. We went there today to walk around, take a look, check out the area. If you're on my Instagram, on our Instagram, you saw photos of the area, a few photos. So that's where we booked it today. So we're going to be there today until October 18th. The next step is, of course, to buy plane tickets. We're starting the process of getting the study visa for Spain. I have my checklist of things that we need to get done. It's an extensive checklist. It's a detailed checklist, and there's a lot to it. So we're gonna really get started working on that as soon as possible. And we got big things coming down the wire.
So when you go back to Spain as of right now, you'll be going still under the 90 days within 180.
Correct.
You won't have the visa most likely yet.
Correct. We will not have the visa. Matter of fact, what we'll be doing is submitting while we're there.
Okay.
Right? Taking care of a lot of that stuff while we are there. We'll meet with apostles and things to get notarized and, translated into Spanish. We're going to do all that while we're there. Get the documents filled out and everything. We're ordering the fingerprint kit to come here so we can get that submitted to the U.S. We can do that right away. But a lot of the Spanish portion of it we're going to do while we're in Spain. Yeah.
That makes sense. Because you know how much time you have left on the 90?
Well, when we go back, it'll restart. So we'll have a full 90 days.
Oh, okay, great.
Yeah.
So has it really been? I guess it absolutely will have been.
Yeah, it'll be 6 months
days since you first. Yes,
since we first landed in Europe.
Excellent.
That's crazy that I haven't been in the U.S. for that long.
Yeah, I think I may or may not have picked up a new listener today talking about your journey and what we're doing as a podcast, because I had somebody into my office to take a look at one of the empty rooms about converting it into a multimedia studio, which would be...
Hello, new listener. I hope you're listening to this episode.
Used obviously for some law firm content, YouTube videos and everything like that. But if you're going to do it right, it certainly can be multi-purpose.
Right.
And will be set up, the goal, and this is just coincidence that I ran into this guy and he's got an expertise. He's a musician who's got his own studio.
Nice. Ooh, maybe he can help with the production of any of the parody songs we create.
Yeah, absolutely. And, really just the timing of it. It sounds like, and I don't have a quote and a, time frame idea yet, but it wouldn't surprise me if things are right and ready to be just a little bit more professional within the next 28 or so episodes, give or take.
Somewhere around there. Yeah. As we, take care of our listeners, we want things to be top notch, high quality, as it were.
Yes. And, it's perfect timing to start a project like that, because yesterday at the time of recording, insulation went in. I think everybody who's been listening since the beginning is aware of the fact that when I moved to the new house that Uncle RJ refers to as the Bowers Estate, uh,
Right.
there is an area that I intended to finish and turn into a performance venue, a little parlor theater type of thing.
Right.
Um, Yesterday, as of the time of the recording, last week, as of the time of this release, the installation was finished. Tomorrow, it'll be inspected because every step of the process, they want to come out and have somebody inspect it.
Of course they
I'll
do.
be, I'll be ordering drywall. Drywall will get delivered sometime next week. So that project is really going to be coming to a completion relatively soon, just in time to start a similar construction project in my office, of course,
All right.
because
Nice.
why let the dust fully settle in your life?
Right. I mean, keep it moving. Right. Keep things going. It reminds me of the construction in Vegas. Right. It's never ending. I always
Yeah.
say Vegas will be a very, very beautiful place once they finish building it.
I think that's the truth.
Construction is continuous.
I figure if you could run all over the world and keep changing your scenery, I could do the same, except stay where I am.
Stay put. Yeah. Yeah. I go to other people's places and this view changes. You stay in place and just change your view.
Yeah. Well, I mean, obviously, I get around as far as performance and touring. Like, we've got something lined up that's starting to take shape. Looks like it's going to be January
Okay.
um, in
Where
some of
at?
the southeastern U.S. states. So, like right now, this is for
Florida,
Between Two
Georgia.
Pines. This is the mind reading and hypnosis show that I do with Bernardo.
Okay.
Uh, I think I mentioned on here some of our efforts to do shows for nonprofits, and specifically some of that effort that, and again, that's an open invitation to anybody that's got some nonprofit near them that they care about, that thinks has the reach to move tickets. We will gladly come out, do a show for you, keep the pricing reasonable, and really keep it ultimately what we do. And travel has something to do with what the cap number is, but we do a 50-50 fee split on the ticket sales, but we cap the amount that we get paid out. And
Right. Yeah.
usually,
We've definitely chatted about
like if I were
that process.
staying within the US, but let's say traveling somewhere more expensive like Hawaii, it's two of us. We are the entire show. So I
Right.
run sound for Bernardo, um, and he runs sound for me. So it's just him and I, and then,
Cool deal.
a suitcase worth of equipment or what have you. Um, and then so that's it. Two plane tickets. So that cap number today, if let's say we were going someplace expensive like Hawaii, you're looking at paying us no more than $3,000. So
Right.
if you're charging $30 for tickets and you've got a 400 seat auditorium, I think that's, I don't know, is
That's
that
that's math.
it's money.
That's money.
At 50%, you're making more than what you're paying us, which is what's important to us.
Right.
And if for some reason, ultimately, obviously we want to be compensated for our time, but we also want to do these shows. Um, Ultimately, we need to at least break even on the deal.
That's the most important part.
That's not the most desired outcome because, if all we're doing is getting our flights covered, then the nonprofit didn't make a ton of money either.
Right.
We'll do whatever we can to support promotion and everything like that. But yeah, I've linked up through the fraternity that I was a member of in undergrad. They've got chapters all over the place. So
Right.
one of the places that we're definitely doing a show, we just haven't solidified dates yet, but we're looking at January, is Georgia Tech.
Georgia
And then,
Tech. Right.
yeah, Georgia Tech, which is in Atlanta, Georgia.
Great
I
city.
got,
Shout out to my friends in Atlanta.
yeah. So yeah, if hopefully we got some listeners down around Atlanta, because that one's definitely happening. And then what the goal is after I had preliminary conversations with the people at that chapter. We circled back around, and I had a conversation with the national organization, who's given me contact information for pretty much anybody within like a 3-hour driving radius of Atlanta.
Cool deal.
So I sent out a preliminary email to those people. I got some responses. So like Georgia, Tennessee, stuff like that. Georgia's probably about an hour and a half from Atlanta.
You should definitely send an email to Tyler Perry.
Have I?
You should.
I should. Okay.
You should definitely send an email to Tyler Perry and let him know you're doing some stuff out there. For no other reason than Tyler Perry and it's Atlanta, and he's big in Atlanta.
Yeah. Hey, why not?
You should definitely send a message to like the sports teams out there.
Yeah.
Right. Especially especially if you're going to their college and any, Georgia Tech alumni,
Yeah. And I mean, some of that's going to be, we'll do some of that. Some of that's going to be done by the chapters individually. But yeah, sometime in January, we're probably going to do about a week. We should get those dates solidified relatively soon now. But more closely, if you happen to be somewhere near Baltimore, Between Two Minds is going to be part of the Charm City Fringe Festival after dark.
Nice.
On October 5th.
Ooh, after dark.
By the time this airs, a ticket link will be available. I don't have it at the time that we're recording this, but I certainly will by next week. I don't know exactly where we are on BetweenTwoMinds.com. That's still being worked on, but It'll definitely be at JudgeMentalist.com. And if you search through Charm City Fringe, I'd like to
be listed there as well.
I'd like to think that everybody who made the show that Matt and I did in downtown Baltimore a last-minute success is a listener of this podcast, and that you guys were shy and didn't approach me and talk to me about this podcast when you were there. So look for that. Come out. It's a fun time.
This time, don't be shy. This time, say hello to Judge Mentalist.
Yeah. Or come up on stage.
Ask him where is Big Sexy.
That's right. So, yeah, that's fun. That's exciting because once you do a performance at a fringe festival, that makes getting booked at other fringe festivals somewhat easier because you've got that on your resume. I mean, anything that you put on your resume performance-wise tends to make future bookings a little bit easier.
So when may we see Between Two Minds at Edinburgh next year?
I'm not opposed to it. So Edinburgh, I believe,
is in August.
It's in August. There's like a window of Edinburgh Fringe Fest. Last I checked, and I looked at this a few weeks ago, but I looked at like 5 different ones. So I may be confusing these. I'm pretty sure that Edinburgh is one that you sign up and then there's a lottery. So it's not even necessarily, and there may be some merit, but I think there's a little bit of luck involved in whether or not you get selected. So that'll be a conversation that I have to have with the family as well as Bernardo to say, hey, do we want to
submit?
Do we want to go to Scotland for 3 weeks? The answer to that question is yes. Logistically, whether or not it's going to work out to be seen, because if you remember, I'm also doing Egypt in May of next year. So there's a degree to which when you run a law practice, being gone
that you can be
all
gone,
the time doesn't necessarily work.
Right.
So
I just now remembered, speaking of Edinburgh, that when I was in college, actually right when I finished my undergrad, I was in a hip hop opera called Keep Heads Ringing. And we took a piece of that, a small scene of that, to the New York City Hip Hop Festival. And that was in 2003, I think, 2002 or 2003. And I recall now and we're talking about it, that our director had also submitted to Edinburgh. And now I remember the lottery, we didn't get picked.
Right.
But I remember starting to work on saving and getting things together and checking flights and looking at stuff because we almost took that to Edinburgh. I think in 2002 or 2003. So I'm sad because it's missed opportunity. Now that I remember, I'm sad. I remember I could have gone to Scotland before, and so that's twice now that I had planned to go to Scotland and it has fallen through. So if you make it to the Edinburgh Festival and I haven't made it there by then, third time's a charm, and I'm definitely
Yeah,
going.
I agree. So I don't know. Again, it's a conversation that'll happen. Excuse me. I think, and again, I'm confusing these because I looked at like six of them back to back to back, um, which is how I stumbled into the Baltimore one because I had a lengthy conversation with another magician who does fringe festivals, and basically gave me the rundown. He says you just kind of got to find them, and then they're going to have the application process on there. Some of them have, like, I think it's Edinburgh that has like between January and February a window that you submit, and then there's another period of time to which you find out if you got selected. And then I'm assuming, like with anything, that after that period, there's probably another, hey, but don't run away screaming if you didn't get picked, because in 2 weeks, we're going to have people that got picked in the lottery that just can't make it happen. And you may be on a wait list. I don't know that. I'm just assuming,
Right.
that either A, they select 10% more acts than they need, knowing that 10% aren't going to make it, because you got to cover everything. You've got to get yourself there. You got to put yourself up. Nobody
Right.
gives you anything. This is not
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
booked
Yeah.
gig. You've got to promote your own shows, all that stuff, and then of course go perform. The performance is the easiest part of it, um, to us, because especially by this time next year, this show is going to be screwed down so tight that you know you're going to think that we've been doing it forever, because it's almost that way now. Like, it's
Right.
pretty smooth all the way through it. um but
That's
yeah,
because
that
when people get it, then they know that they'll be grabbing a polished piece, right? An entirely polished show.
yeah, so I was floating around and looking at these because Phillies starts soon. It probably Phillies already has started from the time that this episode drops. And when I went to Baltimore's, which is right after Philly, Charm City Fringe, on their Instagram was a post from like 6 hours earlier that was like, "Hey, we're looking for acts and submissions for Charm City Fringe after dark." And I'm like,
Nice.
"Well, that timing couldn't be any perfect." So you're not doing the full run. You're not doing stuff during the day, which is fine. I don't have time for that right now.
Right.
But yeah, we got selected to do the show. Again, it's gonna be Thursday, October 5th.
I wonder
Um,
why they call it Charm City.
I don't know. That name's been around for a while, so I'm not sure where exactly it came from.
And that's in Baltimore?
Yes, that is the nickname for Baltimore, Charm
Baltimore is
City.
nicknamed Charm City.
Apparently, yes.
Okay. I'm
I
gonna
don't
have
know
to
the
make
history of where that comes from. I've said
me
it
neither.
numerous times. I've never once looked it up.
I mean, I'm gonna have to keep chatting about the festival. I'm gonna look it up.
So yeah, that's going to be at 10 o'clock in the evening. So again, those tickets should be on sale. I'd check judgmentalist.com or my social media to see. I'm assuming they're going to be relatively affordable tickets. I have nothing to do with anything like that, ticket price or otherwise. I'm waiting to get an email. We fed them all the promotional material earlier today. I'm assuming that I'm going to open up my inbox at some point in time relatively soon, and there's going to be a ticket link to start selling it now that we've given them promo materials, which is pretty simple because we have promo material that we've designed to take this show on the road. So we pop and swap the specific venue and date and time and all the rest of it for the posters the same. um,
Yes. All
if
right.
you
So
want
it
to
looks
see, If you want to see what that poster looks like, go to between the number 2minds.com, because right now, even if the website hasn't fully launched yet, there's a coming soon that has that poster on
That
it.
poster
So,
nice. So it looks like Charm City came from a 1975 meeting of advertisers seeking to improve the city's reputation since Baltimore's downtown area, known as the Inner Harbor, had been neglected and was occupied by a collection of abandoned warehouses. So it
oh,
looks like Charm City was an advertiser's ploy that stuck.
the name stuck.
The name stuck. Yeah.
The
The effect,
there was
it might not be said in spite of.
there was a
I
time
call him
in
a fat
which,
man tiny.
and I think everything kind of goes through phases. I think things are cyclical generally. There was a time in which that Inner Harbor area was very built up, very active. We have two or three buildings that are called Harbor Place that used to be like they used to have tons and tons of different shops in them.
Okay.
And part and parcel to what you would see on the Las Vegas Strip type of shops. Okay, so
All right.
probably one of those overpriced candy stores and little gift shops, and then a cheesecake
Swinger
factory,
spaces and like a
and
scarf thing and a purse area.
right, all sorts of random ass stuff. And there was a time in which that was really really great, and then I think that the financier or owner of the actual Harbor Place building, so not necessarily the tenants within, but the owner itself was having financial issues, and things kind of went on the skids.
Like
So
you
the
do.
buildings are still there. They are mostly vacant. There's I haven't been down there in a while, but there's a handful of stuff down there. And like with any port type area, there are different piers, you know,
Right.
and different things happening on those piers. So like there's Pier 6 has like an outdoor music venue. There's a Ruth's Chris. Like some of that stuff is happening and has happened, but some of it's just kind of, when you've got one person that's really the linchpin of the whole operation or one organization, if something
Right.
goes wrong there, then it all starts to fall apart, which
Ruth Chris, is that an East Coast thing
um
or a Midwest thing? Here's the thing: I never heard of Ruth Chris until right before we were getting ready to leave Vegas. We're living in
mhm.
Vegas, and Nilla's mom came to visit and wanted to take her shopping, and they went to a Ruth Chris. Ruth Chris.
Yeah.
Ruth's Chris. I don't know if I'm saying, I don't know if there's apostrophe S on the Ruth or if it's just Ruth Chris. Like that's somebody's name.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. But I never heard of it before then, and you're the second or third person now I've heard mention it. I still have no idea what it looks like. I
It's
hear
a
it looks
higher end steakhouse, and to most accurately illustrate this, um, there are nice steakhouses where you can order when you're ordering off the menu. Like to me, and this may not be accurate, but one of the dividers in segmenting out steakhouses is, are there sides included in the entree or not? This is one of those ones where when you order the steak, whatever it might be,
mhm.
whatever cut you want, if you want sides, you order them separately and for
So
like 50 bucks.
everything's a la carte.
Everything's a la carte. Yeah. And again, during a restaurant week or some sort of a brunch or whatever, they'll have a prefix that'll include shit. But I mean, the general default menu is everything a la carte.
Right.
And,
And that's how you determine that's a good steakhouse thing.
that's a high, to me, that's a higher end steakhouse. Whether that formally is a divider or not, I don't know because I'm not.
I mean, it costs more money, that's for sure.
Yes, it absolutely does. One thing I will tell you is Brazilian steakhouses have effectively places like Fogo de Chao, which I know that they've got in Vegas and all over
I
major
love me
cities.
some Fogo de Chao in Texas de
Um,
Brazil.
yeah, those places have ruined places like Ruth's Chris and Morton's and other high end steakhouses for me
Lowry's.
because I'm going to spend about the same amount of money. In
Go to the
fact,
Brazilian steakhouse, you get
if
all
I'm
you can
going to the
eat.
Brazilian steakhouse, more often than not, I'm actually spending less, and absolutely everything is included. You eat as much
Everything.
as you want, which I know is a flaw. That's a
That's
whatever.
an
Look,
American thing, but I don't mind it.
if you've met
Don't
me,
mind
you
it at
know
all.
that I live for that shit. I shouldn't. I'll die for that shit too eventually, but whatever.
Yep.
Um, but the other thing is that when you're ordering at insert your favorite high end steakhouse here, unless you're ordering a porterhouse, which is technically two cuts of meat, you're getting a cut of meat, and that's what you get.
Right.
Whereas you can have a little sirloin, you can have a little garlic sirloin, you can
No
have some
sausage.
filet, you can have the
Right.
sausage
Chicken.
chicken if you want it.
Oh, now
A
you're
lot of
making my
times
mouth
they have
water.
lamb if that's your thing. I
Give
when
me
I
the
go to those
meats.
places, I am pure beef down the line. So much so to the point where when they bring the bacon wrapped filet around, I
Oh,
pass.
what's wrong with you?
I wait for the regular filet. The cuts of meat at those places are generally at a high enough level, and I know that some people are going to shame me for this thought,
I'm going to shame you for it right now.
that the bacon takes it down a notch. Bacon generally brings everything up. But at most of the Brazilian steak houses that I have been to, the quality of meat is at a level where that bacon actually brings it down.
But see,
And
that's the problem. Yeah, see, that's why there's a flaw in your thinking
perhaps,
because at the Brazilian steakhouse, not only can you get the bacon wrap filet mignon, the bacon wrap filet, but you can also get the filet sans bacon. So
I
you're
get that.
not so so you can have your cake and you can eat it too. You
Right.
can have both bacon and steak at the same time, and you can have just steak.
But I opt to just wait till they bring just the steak. That's
Yeah,
and that's me. That's me.
yeah. I say give it all to me. Give it all. Fill my plate. I want all the meats.
So yeah, I can tell you that the amount of times since I was really introduced, and it's been, oh boy, how long has it been? I want to say that it's been 10 or more. It's been more than 10 years since the concept of a Brazilian steakhouse has been a regular place for me. So it's been more than 10 years since I've sought out a
Oh,
regular steakhouse. I'm not saying that I won't go to it, because if somebody's
right.
like, hey, we want to take you out, we're going to Morton's or we're going to Ruth's Chris or we're going to whatever, okay, I'll go. But the other one to me is better. But that's just me. I know a lot of other people, but
Yeah, I get
it's,
it. I get it. I understand.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Um, we did steakhouses in Spain. Nothing too high end because we weren't on the high end budget. But the steakhouses that we went to, the steak was really, really good. We tried to find a good cut of steak here in Romania and have since failed at that endeavor. They don't really do beef that well out here. They do pork pretty good. Pork is not too bad out here. Chicken, we're able to do some chicken. Ground beef, no, no. I'm scared of it. I'm no longer thrilled. Um, but which makes my mouth water for when we get back to Spain
Yeah.
because one of the first meals we're gonna get is gonna be steak. I'm almost positive of it. As a matter of fact, I'll document it
Well,
that
you also know
we
the
get
good and
steak.
affordable spots out there too,
We
so that
sure
makes
do.
it.
We sure do, and we'll find some new places as well. There's so much more to explore. That we didn't things we didn't get a chance to do, places we didn't get to see. I cannot wait. I got that vision, right? Once we have a date in mind, my mind like becomes locked on that focus. I'm okay. I just got to get to that date. I just got to get to that date. And guys, if you've been following the journey up to this point, that's kind of been my MO all the way through, right? When are we leaving Vegas? Got to get to that date. We know the day we're leaving. Got to get to that date. Got to get to that date. When can I quit my job? Got to get to that date. Got to get to that date. When do we leave on the boat? Got to get to that, right? So Um, the countdown has begun, um, and looking forward to the date when we hop on a plane and make our way back to España. I cannot wait to return to Malaga. Uh, yeah, let me ask you a question,
Yeah,
um, Judge. Have you ever had an ultrasound of your gut?
I don't think so.
No.
No.
I got an ultrasound of the gut. It's a continuing health saga here in Romania. When I had the dizzy spells after my birthday celebration. Again, shout out to my lovely wife for a wonderful birthday. I'm still on high from that. But I told you I went to an endocrinologist and they did an ultrasound of my thyroid. And then they recommended I get a ultrasound of the belly. So I went to them. They gave me an ultrasound of the gut. Apparently things are okay. They still want to get some blood work done, to rule out everything. They say it's probably high dehydration from what I was explaining, and they told me definitely I got to increase the water. Let me tell you what happens when you got to get an ultrasound of your gut. First off, you have to fast for 6 to 7 hours, so you can't eat anything for 6 to 7 hours. Which was difficult for me because my ultrasound was at 3:30 in the afternoon.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Ooh.
Usually when I know I got to fast, I try to get it done. I try to get the ultrasound done first thing in the morning
Yeah. That way you
because
just wake up,
I just wake up and go
move on.
get it done, and then I can eat the rest of the day. But no, and so that meant I couldn't eat past like 8:30 in the morning, and I don't get up until 10. So uh, I was up for a long time not to be able to eat. You have to drink water, drink plain water, and 2 hours prior to the ultrasound, you have to drink 500 milliliters of water. So you want to fill up your bladder, and then you cannot pee. You cannot urinate at all.
And not with that attitude.
Right. You got to hold it in. Hold it in. Uh, and then um, an hour out, you can't drink at all. Nothing. You can't eat or drink. Right. And so I did all that. And then I went to the ultrasound. It's very interesting because, getting to Romania, the doctor kind of spoke English pretty well. The assistant in there didn't speak a whole lot of English that great. So it's kind of interesting to talk to the doctor and then talk to not have the doctor talk to the assistant or whatever.
Yeah.
In the U.S., right, because I've had ultrasounds on my belly in the U.S., it's usually done by a technician, right? It's done by an ultrasound tech. It's not done by the doctor. They just get the results. In Romania, doctors always do it. They just cut out the middleman. Like, I'm the one who needs to see the results. I might as well know how to do the machine. I might as well run the test, which I think is the way it should be done. It's another thing Europe has correct that the US does not. You know,
Oh,
it's
we're gonna start that list. That's good. Like
it's a long list. The longer
that's
I'm in
a whole
Europe,
nother podcast.
the
I don't
longer
mean it's
I'm
a
in
whole
Europe.
nother podcast episode. I mean we could do a separate podcast about
What Europe does.
yeah.
Actually, we may have to introduce that segment. Things Big Sexy has noticed Europe does better than the
Yeah.
U.S. I think starting soon, I'm gonna start making a list. I think that's not a bad idea. I think it should start a list of things that I think the U.S. The Europe does better than the U.S. And then we should chop it up. We should bring it
Yeah.
up and we can discuss it and see if we agree, if we disagree, why I think it's better. Why the U.S. thinks that their way is better. That'll be fun. I think that'll be a fun introduction to the. Hold on one second. Wait, where is it? Production meeting. Yeah, so we should do
Yeah.
that. Okay. Production meeting over. All right. So I got the verdict is that again I'm okay. I'm a little gassy, which I've always known. Uh,
Who's
I, bur-
not?
I burp and fart quite a bit. Um, Uh, they recommend that I start drinking kefir and eat yogurt because the bacteria in the yogurt will help with the gas. But I hate yogurt. Yogurt's fucking gross. I think it's disgusting. I'm gonna try, and I'm gonna search for like fruit flavored yogurts, right? Then maybe the fruit. But my problem is with being a
Sugar.
diabetic, right? The
Sugar.
sugar, right? In
Because
order
when
to make the yogurt taste better,
you tell me fruit flavored yogurt, I think that much sugar. And I'm
right,
holding up basically about a 1 inch span between my fingers when I do that,
right,
uh,
which I can't have,
which is about how much sugar is in one of those little containers. Like if you're talking
right.
about that little Yoplait, like
The Yoplait,
that kind
one
of
of the
gets
Greek
gradually
yogurts,
smaller.
yeah,
Yeah.
right. But you get that, you mix the fruit in. All that is just sugar, fruit flavored sugar and yogurt. And I know why they have so many varieties because yogurt's fucking gross. It's just disgusting. But um, I'll check with I'll do some research and I'll ask the doctor and like what's good, what's not good, what are other alternatives, what's some delicious alternatives, how can I make yogurt better. What I might do is see if you can add cinnamon to yogurt, right? If you mix cinnamon in, if that how that affects whatever. I know cinnamon is also good for you. So we're gonna start the experimentation. So listeners, I keep you guys posted on the experiments. I recently bought some kefir. We'll see how that goes, um, and what have you, because I want to be around uh, to podcast and see the rest of the world.
It's the world's weird, because there are so many things that are bad unless we tweak them slightly. And I don't necessarily mean that the tweaking them slightly makes it good, but like, hey,
Like bacon wrap steak,
you shouldn't eat mold, right? You shouldn't eat mold,
right?
but I'm going to liquefy this mold
Mm-hmm.
and I'm going to give it to you, and it's going to make you healthy if you
I'm
eat
gonna
this.
inject it into your body.
Right. This
Yeah,
yogurt, fine. Okay. This is healthy mold. Um, but that mold over there, oh God, you've got mold on the walls. You're gonna die. Like, wait, what?
yeah,
Hold on. You want me to ingest it? You just don't want me to breathe it.
right.
If I said, hey, and I don't know, do you guys can you get string cheese over there in Romania?
I have not seen it. No,
Okay, but obviously you're not
there's
that far.
cheese, and I
But
could
string cheese. If I
yeah.
handed you a packet of string cheese, 6 things of string cheese, you eat all those in one setting?
You can that's gonna back you up a little bit.
It sounds ludicrous, right? But if I deep fry those bitches and I give them to you on a plate with some marinara and call it mozzarella sticks, okay, cool. Let's house these bitches.
Yeah,
Like, what did we just do there? Like, and there's so many
yeah. You
examples
take
that are
string.
like,
Yeah. You take a thing of string cheese, bread it up, deep fry it. Look, it has the same effect.
we're gonna make it worse, and
No,
then
it's
and at
gonna
the same time make it better.
it's gonna be better. It's gonna be that's a lot worse for you, right?
Yes.
String cheese is a healthier option than something that's battered and deep fried.
But
Not
again,
a, not a better option.
conceptually, in your mind, you probably stop at one string cheese, right?
Uh,
Maybe
if I'm
two,
if I'm Eastern, maybe two, yeah.
right?
But if you deep fry it and batter,
But
I'm
if
gonna
you
eat
deep
6 of them
fry it,
bad bitches.
exactly.
Well,
Like,
technically, depending on the number of mozzarella sticks you get, because string cheese tend to be a bit longer. Maybe if you cut it in half, and then so that But I order a big thing of mozzarella sticks, so that's usually like 8. So that's still I'm 4 things of string cheese. Sounds like a lot.
yeah,
Even more, if you take, let's say you take 8 things of string cheese, shred it up, put it on a dough, put some marinara underneath it, put some meat on top of it, put it in the oven. Then you got pizza.
yeah,
Same amount, just done differently.
probably more.
Oh, now I want pizza. This is we need a fatty rabbit hole mix
Oh
for
yeah.
the thing. So yeah, so I got that. I'm getting blood work done probably tomorrow morning. Um, get that checked out and everything, and then get those results. Take that back to the doctor I saw yesterday. And do a health check and get that kind of stuff out. And now they're gonna tell me, I gotta watch my salt, watch my sugar. I need to find a blood pressure cuff. So I'm checking those numbers on a daily basis. Because unfortunately, they don't have Walmarts out here or
Right.
CVS's where you can walk in and just check it. you know,
Yeah.
uh, no, you got
I
to
don't know
go.
that I ever consistently trust that. You're talking about like the little machine with the seat that when you're a kid you always want to fuck with and you always see
Yeah,
kids. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Obviously, that's there for a legitimate purpose. It's not just a toy to piss parents off when their kids are playing with it. But
right.
you just see people, kids messing around with it all the time. It's like, how can this thing possibly stay calibrated and be accurate? But
Well, it's close. It'll get you close, I suppose.
I guess it's better than nothing. Yeah.
Right, right.
Um, yeah, it's what other things have you that are, what's unique there? It could be food, it could be otherwise. And what's missing other than CVS's and Walmart's, obviously, that we've talked about?
Ooh, okay. Here we go. Here's a
Specific to
small
Romania.
list. Right, right, right. Specific to Romania. Okay, here's an interesting thing that I found. From U.S. to Spain to Romania, that journey, right? Um, Peanut butter. Now I'm a Skippy dude. I love me some Skippy. I don't mind some Jif. I don't really care for any other peanut butter. Peanut butter. In Spain, they didn't have that. They didn't have peanut butter like I
Really?
knew it. Their
Yeah.
peanut butter is like you can go get that old fashioned peanut butter with the oils on top, and you got to mix it in order to make the
Yeah.
actual peanut butter. That's what peanut butter is like in Spain, which sucks. It's grainy. It's I'm pretty sure it's much
The
more
words
natural.
you're looking for are less processed and healthier, but go on.
Correct. Yes, I'm sure that is what they are. It is less processed and therefore healthier. But damn it, I want my processed peanut
America.
butter. Fuck yeah. Now, uh, Romania has a brand of peanut butter that is closer to Skippy and Jif. It's not good, not as good, but it's closer. Um, so okay, at least in Romania, at least I can have a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, right? Have some peanut butter toast, what have you. So that has been the one of the few shining lights here in Bucharest was their peanut butter. And I really miss it. So when I go back to the US, because I'm gonna have to make a trip back because we need to get our winter clothes and stuff like that, right? So I'm making a trip back to
Loading
the
up on the
US,
PB.
loading up on peanut butter, and I'm loading up on Kool-Aid. Right. If I gotta drink more water, I gotta make it flavorful, I gotta make it tasty. And we came with a lot. And
Yeah.
it lasted. It lasted a long time. Shout out to us for stockpiling. We didn't bring enough though.
And that's
So
powder, right? So that's relatively easy to.
no, I'm not bringing
No?
powder. I bring the liquids. I bring the
Oh,
squeezy, but I might also pack a bunch of the powder sticks as well. Not the
yeah.
packets, because the packets you got to add sugar to, and I don't want to try to figure that out. I'll do the zero sugar added calorie, the ones that are pre sweetened with the artificial sweetener or whatever. I may bring a pack a bunch of those.
I don't know what the health benefits are, but those hydration
The
um, liquid
liquid
IVs
IV.
that I mentioned last time. Again, they
Mhm.
might be all sugar and terrible for you, but those are kind of tasty. Those aren't
Yeah,
terrible.
I've had those. I had some strawberry flavored ones. Uh, back in Vegas when I was hanging out. I went to a market or some kind of conference or whatever, and they were giving them away as a gift. And I like to
Yeah,
go to
yeah,
the tail end of conferences when they're like, we don't want to take this shit with us. Take as much as you want, and so I grabbed a whole bunch or whatever. And they were okay. They weren't um, great, but they were good. They were good. They were enjoyable. Yeah. So I'll try those.
There's like a dump truck, and I can't tell if it's coming down my lane or if it's coming down the soon-to-be neighbor's lane.
Do you got stuff to dump? Is it
Oh
trash
no,
day in your neighborhood?
I think it's probably the other one. It was trash day, but that I think is just no. They're in the other lane, right?
You don't have like the trash guy like the Donnellys, do you? Where they come by
No,
and fight with the missus?
no,
Do
because
you,
there's a big lane out to where the trash goes. I'm wondering why this place that's always so damn quiet. The one day that I decide to record a podcast here for literally like the 1 hour sliver, it's loud AF.
well, because that's the way the universe works. You know what I
It
mean?
generally it is, and the cool thing will be, and again, this isn't going to be universal, but when I do pull the trigger and convert that space in my office, my law office, into a studio, I would imagine that between equipment and just the soundproofing, that that the audio quality is going to be substantially improved. But then, of course, when I do stuff like today, where I'm at home because I had to run back here for the drywall guys for the other project, and when I looked at the watch, I was like, I'm not getting back to the office. I'm just going to set up shop here. Um, you know,
Right.
there's a chance that I end up, obviously, on days like that, having to downgrade the sound. It is what it is.
It is what it is. It's all right. We've been hanging out so far and been doing okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, good
Well, it'll be
stuff.
no worse than it is right now, but I just anticipate where it goes next being of an elevated quality.
Got you. Now, oh wait, hold on a second. Wait. Here we go. Wait a second. All right. So, you know that we still have that bank episode that we've been sitting on forever,
Literally forever.
like
A
way
year.
back from the beginning. And I've been
It,
trying to think when would be a good time to release it.
I don't even
Like,
remember what it's about.
me neither, and I haven't. I
Okay.
still haven't listened to it. Like
Okay.
I may listen to it within the next week. I may pop it on and take a listen to see what the hell we talked about. See how much like dated stuff is in it.
Yeah.
Um,
That
um,
might help determine it. I will tell you that I am going to be in Vegas um, in October. Let me look at the date. It's about a month from now.
so
I
around the same
believe,
time, we'll be heading back to Spain.
yeah, I think it's the 11th through the 16th. So just before you head back to Spain. So
Well, that's perfect then. So
there's
why
a
don't we?
Thursday in there. So that could potentially be arranged for it that gets it out within the next month. And then I think I mentioned this last time, but I was not loud about it because I was in my office and my wife's in my office, and this is still a surprise to her. But
Right.
last of December over the new year, um, we're going on a Disney cruise. We're going to do the Disney Dream out of Fort Lauderdale.
Nice.
5 days. Goes to their private island, Castaway Cay, twice. Um,
Beautiful. I can't
kids
wait
have
for you to
never
do that. That's gonna be awesome.
kids have never been on a cruise before. Everything that I am told is that the Disney cruises are a level above almost everything else as far as
Yes. As
food
far as my
quality,
understanding, that is true.
entertainment, etc. So I'm kind of looking forward to that. I've never had. I don't think I've ever had a bad meal on any of the cruises that I have gone on, and I think that as far as the quality pecking order wise, Carnival's probably not at the top or near the top.
Right.
They're mid range to maybe near the bottom, and
Yeah,
everything's
people call Carnival the Walmart of the seas.
um. So that's going to be a big step to go to basically one of the nicer ones out there. Obviously, the price is substantially different.
Naturally, of course it is.
But things that I'm
Because
actually
Disney.
looking forward to, believe it or not, are that it doesn't have a casino on it, which means it
All right.
probably doesn't have a smoking area anywhere on the ship
It
or
might.
hidden somewhere where I'm not going to go.
Right.
Because the one thing that I don't like, despite being a degenerate gambler, like one of my favorite places to go and hang out is Park MGM in Vegas because it's been smoke free
Smoke free.
since that post lockdown.
Right.
And I hate smelling like an ashtray. I hate, I'm not really a fan of cigarette smoke, but it's kind of a necessary evil when you go places like Las Vegas and Atlantic
Right.
City, which
Although there's like more and more casinos are kind of adopting that no smoking on the casino floor. They have smoking areas because
yeah,
before they had no smoking sections. Right. Like this
yeah,
part of the casino, there is no smoking. And my thought is, well, why don't you make it a little bit bigger and make that the smoking section?
right. Well, I mean, that's
I mean,
honestly,
I get it because the tobacco companies invest a lot of money and have addicted a lot of
oh yeah.
people, and a lot of
But
those
like
people got money to
in
burn.
Maryland, unless it's a grandfathered in cigar lounge, you can't smoke indoors in a public place in the entire state of Maryland.
Yeah, it's like California.
And we have 5 casinos here. So, and those casinos do plenty of business, and nobody, because
Yep.
there's always the talk. If you're following somebody like Vital Vegas, there's always the talk and the banter back and forth about whether or not, if things start going smoke free, is it going to cut into the bottom line?
Right.
Fuck that.
It's going to kill the casino.
The only bottom line it's going to cut into is that lady that's got that tray that's walking around.
Cigars, cigarettes,
Cigars,
cigarettes.
cigarettes. Yeah, her.
Right.
Like, it sucks for her, but, give her a different tray and she can just start putting booze down people's throat.
Exactly.
Fucking $20 or something for
Give
a
her
pack.
candy. Give her candy and Slim Jims. Should be all right. Should be all right. Awesome. Well, yeah, good. So I think that we can drop that bank in October.
Yeah.
And then we'll record another bank episode for when you're gone in December. Right. We'll record some more bank episodes, some more up-to-date bank episodes,
Yeah,
especially when we get to
look at what
September.
those dates are. Like days of week. I know what the numbers are.
And I mean, if we need to record a bank, we may not need to record one. We'll see.
Yeah, that's going to be a Thursday through a Tuesday.
We have things brewing and growing that, maybe not.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Yeah. Awesome. Well, listeners, we'll do this. Let's leave it up to you. Do you want to hear that bank episode soon? Like as soon as possible? So we'll drop it next month. Do you want to hear it? Do you want us to hold on to it for December or for like special milestone? Do you want us to release it as a bonus episode? Like maybe on a time in between interviews if I haven't got anybody interviewed after the last series of interviews drop, if we don't have anybody new, do you want me to drop it as a bonus episode? Let us know what you prefer. I'll create a poll. I'll do a poll on.
We could probably drop it as like a bonus extra episode. I realized the math wasn't making sense to me as to how we were recording episode 52, but we started this thing early October, and I realized that there was a holiday. I don't remember if it was Christmas or Thanksgiving.
Episode 13 was a bonus episode.
But we put a number on it. So they were like 2 in 1 week.
Right.
So that got us, to 52 a week early.
Right.
Which is where we are now. Woo!
Woo!
Happy birthday.
Yay. Episode 52. We're almost exactly a year in, which means episode 53 will be our year anniversary. We have to see.
It should fall about there.
Yeah. Yeah. October 5th. So on the episode that drops, I think we record that next week. And then October 5th will be our 1 year anniversary. So maybe we'll drop it as an anniversary gift to ourselves. That's a good idea. I like that idea. We'll drop that as a bonus episode.
Do it then.
So never mind. Screw the poll. Scratch it. I won't do the poll.
We're going to drop a bonus episode on October 5th. And when you're hearing that episode, you should be thinking, damn, I should get to Baltimore and go to that Charm City Fringe After Dark show. Because
exactly.
That's 10 o'clock that evening.
Exactly. Hopefully you're listening to it while you're waiting in line to get in.
Man, a year, dude. Think about that.
That's
I
crazy.
wasn't even Judge Mentalist
Nope.
on that day.
And I was a Las Vegas native.
a year
Well, Las
later,
Vegas resident.
we're doing a Fringe Festival show. That's wild.
Yeah, and I'm in Romania,
Yeah,
which wasn't even
never
on,
was in the plans.
was never even thought of at that time. Ooh, what a difference a year makes. Yeah, so look forward to that. Look forward to recording the year episode and getting stuff out. But in the meantime, guys, we're everywhere. Check us out. If you haven't done it already, subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can find us at Big Sexy Digital Nomad on YouTube. Just search that. Go to our merch store at Where Is Big Sexy. That's WEAR isbigsexy.com. Hit us up on Instagram at Big Sexy Nomad, on what used to be Twitter and Thread at Big Sexy Nomad. Send us emails at bigsexynomad@gmail.com with your wrong answers only, trivia questions. If you guys still want us to do that, your travel stories, both horror and wonderful. Any ideas or topics, where you want to hear us go, what direction you want us to go in. We love to hear from you guys. Judge, where can I reach you at?
All of my personal social media is at psychic-ish. That's where you find all the judgmentalist stuff on any of those platforms. There's also Elkton Magic on most of them as well. If you want to see some of those shows, if you happen to be rolling through the area, or just want to see who we've got coming up next, because by the time this episode drops, Jonathan Burns coming in October will be announced. Really
Nice.
looking forward to that. Been trying for a long time to get him here. We're currently at the time of recording in pre-sales, and I will tell you that the response that I've gotten to the pre-sales on that show substantially higher than even the Magic Gone Wild pre-sales when we did those.
Nice.
So it's going to be two great back-to-back shows here in Elkton in October and November. So make plans to come here and stick around for a while. Why not?
Cool then. If you want to get me personally, you can reach me at Who Is Big Sexy on all the things. We appreciate your listeners. Oh, before we go, we got to reach out to our Patreon folks.
I hope you've got the list, because I don't.
I will pull that up. I may have it memorized because I think we have a few folks. But tell us more about shows while I pull that list up.
I'll start reading the list off of memory. So we got Joshua Tarr, Sebastian over
Robbins.
there in Sebastian Robbins in Australia. Got Lee Popsicle, Michael McKenna. Yes, is that a name on that?
Michael
Okay.
McKenna.
I know it's a name.
Crow.
I just didn't know if I was mixing one first name and one last name.
Angel Crow, Bree. Hold on 1 second. I'm getting there.
I think I covered close to half.
And also, we want to mention. No, we got them all.
Sweet.
We got them all. Yep. Angel, Bree, Chris, Michael, Lee, Sebastian, and Joshua.
Oh yeah,
guys,
Chris Lowry.
we need more Patreon
Still on
members.
a cruise.
Yeah,
last week Chris Lowry was on a cruise. I think he's on a different cruise.
Oh damn! I want to live that life.
He's a travel agent. So
that makes sense.
Yeah,
good deal. Yeah, so guys, we need more Patreon members. So share the podcast, share that with people. Let people know they can go to bullwiththebutthole.com to subscribe. Go to bullwiththebutthole.com, become a Patreon member, and I want that list to be too long to recite by memory.
And if you have, not that it's really our intent, but we'll get there eventually. If you have ideas for what might make sense for a higher tier, we're happy to listen to them. One of the things that we kind of chatted about was maybe instead of doing advertisers, having people, a specific tier where you can advertise a product, a service, a website, your podcast some absolute shenanigans like the made up ads that they do on ICS or whatever, but that specifically at that tier, you get to call the shots on stuff like that. That's an idea that we had that we've kicked around.
Yep.
I don't know. We want your input because this is your podcast. We just do the topics.
Yeah, so share the information, share that. We're looking to engage. We want to make this podcast. We're making this podcast for y'all. I mean, really, it's for us because we love to hear ourselves talk and we love to share our information and share what's going on. But we really do care about what you guys think and what you guys enjoy and what you listen to. So reach out, let us know, and you get to say, yeah, there's a podcast that's kind of tailored to the kind of shit I like, So we want to hear that. So let us know. And without any further ado.
Safe travels.